Well, good morning, my friends. My name is Willie Lawson, and here's what we're talking about today. Something I've been watching for years: a cultural glitch, an emotional misfire, a full blown American contradiction baked right into our daily lives. And once you see it, you're not going to be able to unsee it. Here it is, plain and simple. We will demand the head of a football coach for going 7-5, but we won't say a single word when a school graduates kids who can't read. We want accountability, but for the wrong people. We want excellence, but in the wrong places. We want blood, but not where it actually matters. And that's what this episode is about: misplaced outrage, misplaced accountability, and why America chases the wrong villains while ignoring the real failures that are hurting our country. Now, every fall across the entire country, millions of adults transform into SEC level gladiators. I'm an ACC level gladiator. We scream, we yell, we demand firings. Actually, they demand firings. They storm message boards like the Battle of Helm's Deep. You lose to a rival, the coach is trash. Fire him yesterday, rip up his contract, buy out, be damned. Let him walk home. Let him walk home. You, you guys know the drill. But he could have a winning record. He could be one season removed from a bowl game. He could be rebuilding the dumpster fire left by the last guy. Doesn't matter. Lose 7 games, gone. Lose 5, still gone. Lose emotionally important games, absolutely gone. College athletics have turned into the Hunger Games. and every coach is a tribute. Nobody cares about context. Nobody cares about roster problems. Nobody cares about injuries, culture fixes, or rebuilding years. People want wins. And if they don't get them, somebody must die. No, metaphorically, most days. It's emotional warfare. Your team is your identity. Losing feels personal. And so the fans become angry digital mob, marching with pitchfork emojis and typing things like, he should be fired at halftime. This program deserves better. He's stealing money. My grandma could coach better. Meanwhile, grandma hasn't even watched a full game since 1988. This isn't accountability. This is bloodlust. And it's weird how normal it's become. Okay, now let's flip the script. If your school district posts a 14% reading proficiency, how many people show up at the school board meeting? 6, 7, 6, 7. Sorry, I couldn't resist. And 3 of them are lost, right? If the middle school is performing at the bottom quartile nationally, does anybody call the superintendent for the superintendent's firing? Nope, not a whisper, not a tweet, no Facebook rants, nothing. The principal presides over years of academic freefall. Nobody seems to care. A district math score collapses. People shrug. A high school graduates seniors reading at a 5th grade level. Well, we'll form a committee. We'll have a listening session. We'll add another deputy coordinator of engagement. We'll create a new initiative with a logo. And then silence. Silence you could bottle and sell. Where's the outrage? Where's the passion? Where are the torches? Where's the accountability? Let me be clear. A football team losing a rivalry game does not affect your kid's life. A failing school absolutely does. But the loudest voices aren't where the stakes are. They're where the emotions are. Okay, now let's talk about the psychology behind this because it's not random. Sports are visible. Schools are seemingly by design invisible. Football is in your face, bright, loud, emotional, public. Schools quiet, bureaucratic, hidden, beige colored buildings you pass on your way to Publix. Nobody sees the classroom, nobody sees the instruction, and nobody sees the data. But the game, everybody sees the game. Football has a scoreboard. Schools don't. Sports give you instant judgment. You won or you lost, the end. Schools give you, well, it depends on how you interpret the rubric relative to the adjusted cohort graduation rate, factoring in the subgroup translation. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. Without a clear scoreboard, people don't get angry. People only get angry when they understand the stakes. Fans feel ownership of our team. Our school feels like, our schools feel like, well, that's somebody else's problem. A loss embarrasses you publicly and personally. A failing school doesn't seem to embarrass anybody. Sports are escapism. Education is responsibility. It's so easy to blame a coach. It's harder to ask, why isn't my school board doing its job? Or why don't we demand measurable excellence for kids? People avoiding responsibility. But they love yelling. Sports anger is safe. School anger is political. You can rant all day about your coach, and nobody cancels you. You won't get called names. But you criticize schools? Suddenly you're attacking teachers, or you're against kids, or you're on the wrong side of the issue, or you're being divisive. So people just stay quiet. Now, here's where it gets serious. If your football team underperforms, it costs me what? A few minutes of disappointment? For me, a ruined Saturday? Yeah. But school underperformance costs kids their future. A child who can't read by the third grade is statistically more likely to struggle academically, drop out, get trapped in low income jobs, depend on government, struggle with basic education, decision making, end up in the criminal justice system. Education is not one issue among many, it's the runway for everything else. Now, when I taught, when I started teaching or was in the school system, whenever I had a problem with a student, I would go and read their cumulative file. And I can tell you, almost to the kid, third grade, 8 years old, was the place where kids went one way or the other. Not entirely, not everybody, but enough to notice. The kids who could read went one way, while the kids who couldn't read went the other way. And this is, I know that maybe my going through these cumulative files is not scientific and it's anecdotal, but it matches the data. A kid who can't read is a kid whose options close like elevator doors. And yet, we don't show the same fire we show when a coach calls a bad play on 3rd and 9. Imagine if people cared about reading scores like they care about red zone efficiency. Imagine if school board elections drew the same turnout as homecoming weekend. Imagine if the superintendents were held to the same standards as coaches. Win, improve, show progress, deliver results, step aside. Football coaches face real consequences for failure. School systems rarely do. That's the problem. Now, I'm going to say something that might sting a little. A big part of the silence is because too many adults today wouldn't pass the seventh grade tests that the kids are failing. Because unfortunately, we've got adults who don't read. We've got adults that can't interpret data. We've got adults who can't evaluate a school district, and adults who haven't set foot in a school since Reagan was president. Adults who don't know who their school board member is. Adults who think my kid's passing, so everything is fine. Meanwhile, their kid is passing because the bar is buried underground. People aren't angry at the schools because they're not connected to the schools. A football team, that's life, that's culture, that's identity, that's hometown pride wrapped up in shoulder pads. You think we're talking about nuclear codes the way panics people talk after a loss? But when kids can't read, well, that's our society today. No, that's failure. And we should call it what it is. All right. Here's what I'm proposing. You ready? Take 10% of the fire you have for football, just 10%, no, just a little bit, and aim it at your school system. You don't have to storm the field. You just have to show up to one meeting, one during the school year. One. You have 38 weeks, 36 weeks. One. Ask real questions. Demand real data and expect real results. Vote for people who take kids seriously. Treat education like the foundation of our country because it is. Imagine school boards with the same pressure as athletic departments. Imagine superintendents measured like coaches. Did you improve reading outcomes? Did the math scores rise? Are teachers supported? Are parents engaged? Is the building safe? Are we actually preparing kids for functional adult life? If not, then just like the coach, it's time for a new playbook and maybe a new leader. Here's the bottom line, kids. Football is entertainment. I said this before. Football is entertainment. Education is destiny. Football gives us 3 hours of emotion. Education gives a child 80 years of consequences. We demand excellence in sports, but we accept excuses in schools. We fire coaches who lose games, but we ignore systems that lose generations. And until we flip that, until we demand success where it matters, nothing, zero, is going to change. And if we ever bring that same fire to education that we bring to football, if we ever demand results for kids like we demand results for our teams, if we ever care about reading the way we care about rankings, America will take off like a rocket. Because we will finally have learned to be outraged in the right direction. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. Thank you for watching. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.